Hello, welcome back. This is our second episode of the Panther Soccer Podcast, also known as PSP. This is our Jaylee Hicklin episode, our number two player, or the player who wears number two on our UNI women's soccer team. Jaylee plays mostly a defensive midfield position and one of our go-getter players. So,
Spot on. The one thing
amen.
I really enjoy about Jay Lee is that she just goes out of her way for other people. And like the fact that when we mentioned it on the Instagram story, the Panther Soccer Prowler Instagram story, that hey, we might be going to one of these four locations, she DM'd us like immediately being like, hey, come to Kansas City and like we'll catch up. I'm like, wait, what? Actually? Like it took me by surprise. And yeah, I got to catch up with her for a bit and got to see her play for Sunflower State FC, I think is what the team name is called.
Yeah.
And she played great. She played what, 75, 80 minutes of the
Yeah.
90-minute game, and she stood out. Like I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing her be a starter this coming fall.
Yeah, I think hopefully, yeah, she looked good at that summer game, put on a show, got an assist on their third goal. Um, and yeah, I'm hoping that she gets some more minutes this fall. I'd like to see her in a starting position. We just heard this morning that Syria has officially transferred to Northwest Missouri State. So hopefully Jaylee can kind of fill in those shoes and maybe pick up that starting spot.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna miss Siri. She was really cool. I remember how it was her and Kennedy Reichen after the Indiana State game. Like they're the first two players that came up to us and was like, "Hey, thank you guys for coming. This is awesome. Like 6.5 hour drive. I can't believe you guys did this." And we're like, "Yeah, that's what we're here for. We did our best to keep it a secret because,
Hmm.
yeah." But R.I.P. Siri. She's not dead. Just transferred to a different school.
Yeah, I think her presence will be missed on the team for sure. Just hoping that we could bounce back. I'm still looking forward. I think we got a great season ahead of us.
Oh, for sure. Like I said last episode, I'm expecting a championship run. All right, so we're gonna be changing it up. Well, it's the second episode. It's not really changing anything up. Our topic and our hot topic of the day is UNI Athletics in general, and what the heck are they doing when it comes to selling tickets and how they're treating specifically the football student section poorly. So you want to explain the seating change for the student section for football real quick?
Yeah, so I don't know how long it's been, but certainly since we've been at UNI, the student section has sat in the middle three sections or so at our football stadium. With nice central seats, you go to the games early enough, you get a front row right on the 50. Super good seats for our student section. And they announced a change this past spring for the coming season, here in about a month or so, probably. But they moved both the marching band and our student section to one of the corners of the dome. So much less optimal seating. I think they cut out a section available. I think it's now just two sections in marching band. Um, and I have some pretty strong thoughts on this, but what are your thoughts on it, Brady?
So I've actually been saying for years that they need to make the student section for UNI football games smaller anyways, but not like this. This is terrible because I like the idea of cutting the student section seating availability because I think it was just over 1,200 seats before, not including the marching band. It was about 1,500 including the marching band section. It was about 1,500 seats to now about, I think it's, I could be off on this, but it's like between 600 and 700. That part I'm okay with. However, putting them in the corner, specifically the marching band, like putting them in the corner where it's straight. There's no like curve. You know how in most like bigger stadiums it's curve around the corners
Yeah.
so that you have like a view of everything on the field. Now it's like, yeah, there's gonna be people in the way. It's just gonna be very hard to see, and especially for the marching band, I feel so bad for them because like it's because depending on like the plays and situations, they play certain songs, so they're gonna mess up a lot. I feel like this coming season, and I don't know. I think it's a joke what they're doing, especially for the student section. Like, really, because no one is going to be in section A, because that's the very far section. That's the left to the left of the marching band, and then section C will be to the right of the marching band.
Hmm.
Everyone's going to go for section C. So
Yeah.
basically, there's only 500 seats for the student section because no one's going to go in C and B because it's upper B for, yeah. No one's going to be in A. So basically, 500 seats available for the student section.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if that gets filled, what that looks like the first couple games, because I'm sure they'll figure it out. But I think that moving them to the corner is just such a bad idea. And to me, it shows the students like you just kind of brushing us to the side because, in my opinion, the dome is. I've never seen it close to full. In my 3 going on 4 years here at UNI, it's never been close to full. So you have seats to spare in the middle for your student section, and I get it; they're free for us, but we should still be entitled to a good experience at the games. I do not want to go to a sports game at this university where I'm not like front row 2 or 3 because we have that as a small university with not like a huge sports scene. I can do that. And I don't want to go sit in the back of a student section for something I could easily get front row. And if I have to crane my neck 90 degrees to the side just to watch our football team choke another game in the fourth quarter, I'm not interested in that, quite frankly. So I'll go to 1 or 2 games. And he's making faces.
Oh,
I
no shot. You did not just say, I don't want to go and see our football team choke in the fourth quarter again. Oh, no.
I'm just calling it how I see it.
No, I don't think that's 100% true, but I get it. They're
But
having especially that oh, the spring ball season because the COVID year where we had to play football in the spring instead of the, yeah, those are some rough games to watch. Anyways, but okay, I'm really glad you mentioned that. But like, but another issue is that so 12,000, I guess, leading topic. Um, so 12,000 fans per home game for UNI football used to be considered low. From my understanding, our average attendance this past year was like 8,000, and people were getting hyped about that. And I'm like, not 8,000. I think it was like 7,500 was our average, I think.
mhm.
And people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so many people." I'm like, "What do you mean that's so many?" 6 years ago, we would have thought our athletic program was going into bankruptcy. What do you mean that's a good number? Like, what? No, that's terrible. But um obviously we can't control season ticket holders or anything like that. However, as students, we should easily be at least filling half of the student section every football game. But the problem is situations like them moving the student section over a few sections and like basically treating us poorly. It's causing students to not want to show up to games. And like, I'm curious if you have any ideas of like what you and I should do. I have some ideas. I want you to go first if you have any ideas of what you and I should be doing to try and bring in more students for not only football games but for like basketball, volleyball, yeah, sports like that.
Yeah, I think that our student sections, generally speaking, across the entire board of Fairweather fans, we show up pretty well to the big games, to be honest with you. But it's all those little games that fall between the cracks that just no one gets passionate about. I think I see the most student engagement and attendance when it's a big game, and typically someone like our campus activities board or someone puts on some sort of giveaway or food or something. I think that gets people excited to go to the games. That being said, you can't do that every game. So there's got to be some middle ground to help students feel excited about those maybe smaller games while also still pulling decent student section numbers. As especially when we're at a university where we get our student ID gets us into all the sporting events for free, we should see higher student section attendance than we do, in my opinion.
That's fair. Yeah, I love the campus activity board giveaways that they do, especially oh, I miss the beat Drake or beat Loyola shirts they gave out. Like, oh, I was so mad that I was in the oh, maybe they didn't give out beat Drake. I know they have before, but maybe that was before our time. But I was so mad that I was in the pet band when they gave away beat Loyola shirts because I'm like, dang, that would have been sick to have. But
Hmm.
um, so an idea that I've always not always had that I kind of like came across, I have to give full credit to North Carolina's student section for this. What they should do is they should have like a point system where like you scan your ID for like sporting games and like you get a certain amount of points. So like, but for football, I think they should like scan the card at the end of the game to collect points so that hey, you're there the entire time to keep attendance, for the end of the fourth quarter high. But what they should do is like, so say like this, the bigger sports like men's basketball or football, you get like 1 or 2 points per game for those sports, and then for like women's basketball, volleyball, swimming, we don't have a whole lot of sports. Women's soccer,
Wrestling, yeah.
yeah, like that you should give away like 3, 4, 5 points for those sports if you go. And like what you can do with those points is like get free merch or stuff like that. Like essentially get prizes or like coupons to not coupons, like gift cards to restaurants around town, or even like what um I think North Carolina did this. I know another school did this as well, but or like what you could do is like try and go to as many as you can and save up your points, and they pay for your ticket into the Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament as like a grand prize essentially for collecting so many points. Um, I don't know. Because it's embarrassing. We're a Division 1 school. There's 9,000 students here. Like, granted, we're not going to have the numbers that Iowa State, Iowa. Sorry for bringing up Iowa. Not like we're not going to bring in those numbers, but we should at least, especially for football, we should at least be bringing in 500 students per game. I don't think I'm asking for a lot, but the
Hmm.
problem is no one cares. No one feels like they're welcomed at UNI athletic events. Like they feel like they don't belong at those events. And it's like, okay, this is your university. You're welcome at any sort of athletic event. Like there's a reason why there's free tickets. But yeah, no one cares. No one wants to go. No one feels like they're welcomed at sporting events. And I feel like having a point system, collect as many points as you can, win free prizes would really help with that.
Yeah, that could be a good way to go about things. Yeah, something's gotta be fixed because it's just not it. I agree. We're a D1 school. It should be pulling out better numbers. Um, Most of our sports teams aren't even that bad. Actually, some of them are pretty good, like our UNI women's soccer team. Um,
100%. We're making the NCAA tournament this year.
oh, absolutely. But
Hopefully.
yeah, there's just got to be a way to get more students out, and that was kind of our whole reason for starting this student organization was, hey, we got to get some more students out. We got to kind of revitalize our school spirit here at UNI because, for the everyday student, it's probably not too strong. Like, oh, cool, I go here. Like, yeah. But for us, we want some passionate fans coming out to our games and events. So
And what sucks especially about that was the death of Panther Mayhem.
Yeah, our our big student section with all the bibs, the purple and yellow overalls, and uh who knows what else they did, chanting,
Yeah, because I don't know. I remember growing up because my mom went to UNI, and my dad grew up in Waterloo. So like I've gone to UNI football games specifically since I was like 7 or 8. Like I usually went to like one or two a year growing up. And like I'll never forget like how packed and just how wild those Panther Mayhem student sections were. Like I remember like most of them would go shirtless wearing their bibs, and I'm like, dang, this is insane. And I'm sure like tailgating for students was a bigger deal at the time, so they probably had a few too many to drink before the game, which I'm not encouraging, but like I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a football atmosphere anymore. Is the problem, or or even basketball, men's basketball, like what they used to do for the tickets, just in general, was well, they want as many people to show up to the games as possible. So if you're a season ticket holder, if you didn't pick up your ticket by like 2, 3 hours before tip off, what they would do is just sell your ticket. Be like, oh, you didn't pick it up? Too bad. It's for sale now. like, like that's how packed the men's basketball games used to be. And I can't
wow.
believe like from the general public, like no one cares now. It's like, well, obviously we can't control that, but that's what it used to be at UNI. We used to have a sports culture here, but
Hmm.
now it's gone. And I guess with the creation of the Panther Prowlers, hopefully we bring some of it back. Hopefully our energy and our love for women's soccer feeds off into other sports outside of men's wrestling, because I feel like men's wrestling, I mean, that gets sold out all the time. Everyone shows up for men's wrestling. I don't understand why. Uh, I don't. It's not for me. I get why other people like it, but it's not for me. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But like, this sounds bad, but I feel like a good comparison would be to like Southern Illinois, because Southern Illinois is in freaking Carbondale, Illinois. Like, their population isn't much bigger than Cedar Falls, and
Yeah.
their student body is not much bigger than UNI, but yet their student section for all their not all their sports, specifically for men's basketball and then for football, get packed all the time. I remember seeing a number where it's like, yeah, we have 800 seats available for SIU students for men's basketball. Yeah, we accidentally not sold. There's accidentally 1,800 students let in. I'm thinking like, damn, that's like a 216% like
Yeah.
ratio.
Yeah.
like, like what are they doing right? Is my question. Like,
Mm.
and not only that, but like they had a decent showing for when we showed up for the women's soccer game, which was really cool. Granted, their
Yeah.
chants sucked. They copied all of crap. I just said that we sucked. Our chants
Hmm.
sucked.
Yep.
They had nothing original, is what I'm trying to go for. Like they didn't. They just
There you
copied all
go.
of our chants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, I can get. I can't think of his name, but I'm hoping in the future I can reach out to the SIU Dog Pound president and have him on the show at some point. But uh,
Yeah.
that's for the future. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that Southern Illinois game. I just said we weren't really expecting another student section to be there. We were kind of having some minor banter back and forth on social media before the game, but to be honest, I wasn't really expecting anything. And they showed up pretty late to the game because it was only a few minutes before kickoff. And we're like, there's no one here. So we see some people start to trickle in, and they actually ended up with, I don't know, maybe 10, 15
Yeah.
people. It was decent. And they sat literally right behind our net. They had bleachers that were not more than a few yards off the field. It was so close. Which turns out maybe was not allowed, but that's okay. But they had a banner, they had a drum, so they're doing a few things right. And so we had some fun chants back and forth with them, and maybe a little bit of a fiery halftime interaction, but nothing major happened.
Also, I later on found out that they do a lot more giveaways for like the smaller sports, which is what we should do at
Hmm.
UNI. We should obviously we did the scarf giveaway once 2 years ago. They need to do that like for every sport, one like every small sport once a year is I think would really help grow every not every sport, just grow the fan base among UNI students. Like because it just takes one time to show up to a game and be like, oh, this was actually enjoyable to watch. Like it takes a chance for these UNI students to actually show up and want to be there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened with us. That's our origin story, you know. Um, as much as I love soccer, I didn't even know we had a team my freshman year. I didn't even know we had a team, let alone interest in going. And then here I am a couple years later, you know, um, doing these crazy road trips and whatnot and trying to build something. So yeah, all it takes is just one chance, one game, one good showing from the team and the student section, and you get people hooked, you know.
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of like the swim meet we went to against Iowa. That was
Yeah.
the week of homecoming. That was so much fun. I'm glad that like because like I used to go to my friends' swimming meets in high school, and then like when you're like, oh yeah, me and a bunch of like friends from church are going to the swim meet to support. Was it Abby? Was her name?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna go support Abby for her swim meet. Like you should show up for a little bit, and then after we can go to the volleyball game against Bradley. I think it was against Bradley. I don't remember, but all I know is that Emily dominated. Shout out to Emily Holster Rouse. Anyways, off topic. I can't pronounce her last name. Sorry, Emily. Um, yeah, I'll have to send her that clip later. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, but it took like those students one time to show up and be like looking at everyone else's face around the student section, everyone seemed like they're having a good time. We were like chanting, being loud and obnoxious. I'm like, yes, this is what it's all about. And it sucked that that was like one of the very few actual like swim meets they had at UNI that year. Cause like I would have gone to more. Like those were fun. I don't know. But
Yeah. There's just a lot of travel for the swim teams and all their competitions they do.
it's
So
bizarre. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. It's crazy to think that we're approaching 2 years ago where we're like, oh, scarf giveaway. Oh my gosh, we gotta go now.
yeah. We're actually officially just a few days shy of a month now. Well, under a month. So from our first home kickoff versus Viterbo and the regular season. Also, I believe that Iowa State game on the 6th is a home game.
Seventh.
7th, oh gosh.
The
But
sixth is the oh, I guess yeah, this is a good transition into our a topic I forgot to write down, but
yeah,
something I wanted to talk about a little bit. Um, yeah, because the sixth is the World Cup watch party.
it'll be interesting to see if the USA can three-peat. Um, EA predicted the FIFA game predicted them, so they've been right past many years for both men's and women's. So guess we have no choice but to win now.
I don't know. Canada has a good team. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. All right. All right. Just quick transition. So, like referring to the watch party, like this ultimately made me realize, like, not. I guess I've realized this for a year now. The team actually appreciates us, and because of this, it makes more people want to come back. And this makes
Mhm.
it like that's a weird transition point. Like so about 2 weeks ago, like I didn't even know what the watch party was, but Caroline reached out to me being like, hey, do you want two free tickets to the watch party? I'm like, watch party, what's the watch party? And she's like, oh, we're doing a fundraiser event, you get a free dinner, meet the team, and then watch a World Cup women's game that night with the team. And like, yeah, my parents bought tickets and they told me to just give them to you guys. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then 3 days later, we get a DM from Cindy Bursky on the
Mhm.
PSP account being like, hey, I have free tickets. If you guys want to come, you guys totally should. Cause like I forgot how she worded it, but it's basically like we have to have our biggest supporters there at the fundraiser event. I'm thinking like I feel like the UNI soccer team has accepted us as part of their team. Like we are the 12th player for them. And I think it's really cool
Yeah.
that like even if we aren't very loud or like that into the game, because they're having games where like the Valparaiso comes to mind this past fall where there's like 3 or 4 of us. It wasn't massive because it was the same day as a football game. So
Yeah.
all the marching band kids didn't want to go. Everyone else was sleeping in because yeah. Because no one wants to be up at 11 a.m. on a Saturday. God forbid.
Yeah.
Um, but even when our crowds are like smaller, they still like are like, oh, you guys better come onto the field with us before the game. Like they've almost like accepted us, and it makes it more exciting to go back to the games, being like, oh yeah, they're excited to see us, so we better be excited to see them back. Essentially, is how I view it, and yeah, so
Yeah. We've had great support from coaches, parents, players. Never really felt like we weren't wanted. So that's that's good. And I'm looking forward to this fundraiser so I can meet some of the players that I have definitely never met before. But no, the fundraiser will be good. I'm kind of curious what game they'll replay. I assume if it's a replay, they're going to choose uh, a USA game, but who knows? So that's looking good. The next day we'll take on the first exhibition match versus Iowa State. Iowa State's that's always a good game. I think I've always felt like that game's winnable. I don't know if I've seen them beat Iowa State here going into the third season, but we could maybe preview that game in a coming episode as we get closer.
oh for sure, for sure. I'm looking forward to that game as well because that'll be the first like no, we planned it out perfectly where the 4 admins will all be able to like hang out like and have good bonding time, and then like we're guaranteed to have 5 of us at the student section for that game. I don't really expect it to expand from 5, honestly. That sounds bad, but most people are still at home because summer break. Yeah, we're guaranteed to have 5 in the student section for that game, and it'll be the 5 most obvious people in the student section. Like they make the most difference in the student section is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And maybe not the most, but like, yeah, we make the most impact towards the team. Unfortunately, none of us 4 admins are number 1 though for support towards the team or noticeable support towards the team. If you know what I'm saying, because Cheeto is number
Uh,
1.
no, that was not going to be my guess.
What do you mean that was it? Who was your guess?
I was going to guess either, oh no, forgive me, Morgan's dad or Sydney's dad. I can't remember Morgan's dad's name. So
Oh my gosh, love Morgan's dad. Oh no. But yeah, and then that Friday exhibition game against Clark, there'll be 2 of us in the student section. Cheeto and I, if I get off work early that day, I guess, because usually I work till like 4 on
yeah,
Fridays, and the game's at 3. But
but
eh,
with the exhibition games, it's whatever, to be honest. They only matter if we win, because if we lose, then it's an exhibition game. But if we win, well, it might as well be a regular season game.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if we win, we're rushing the field against Iowa State. Oh, no, I shouldn't put that in.
Mhm.
Shoot. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
going to edit that part out. Yeah, so I guess that, wow, okay, perfect. Our episode is going to be longer than 20 minutes. I honestly was kind of worried, like, oh no, this episode's only going to be like 12 to 15 minutes because, like, I kept blanking when I wrote the script. I'm like, What's our other topic? I know there's another topic I wanted to bring up today, but it was how we feel like we're the 12th player on the field. Anyways, any last word? Oh, well, yeah. Any last words from you before we close out?
This week, any famous last words? Nope, just go Cats.
Go Cats. Yeah. Anyways, good luck to Siri Ott at Northwest Missouri State next year. We just found it made it. It was official this morning. As always, we appreciate you guys' support towards the podcast and the Panther Soccer Prowlers. There'll be two episodes. There'll be a second episode this week. There'll be an episode on Thursday where I interview a student section leader for the Iowa State women's basketball team and just a diehard fan of Iowa State sports in general. His name is Blake. So yeah, stay tuned for that episode this coming Thursday. As always, see you guys next time, next Monday at 3.
Peace out.